You've tried to get him to understand, you've begged, you've explained, you've cried, you've shut down, and still nothing sticks. But what if you are the key to breaking this toxic cycle? Even if he never changes. Hey, love, welcome back to Hot Mess to Higher Self. So let's get really honest for a second. You're stuck in the same argument, the same hurt, the same distance over and over. It's like deja vu, but the painful kind. And I'm not saying it's all your fault, not at all. What I am saying is you don't have to sit around waiting for him to magically wake up and become the partner you need in order to feel free. Because the truth is, you hold more power than you think. And this is what we're going to dive into today. All right, so let's really paint the picture here because I know you've lived this. It starts with something so small. Maybe he's on the phone while you're talking, not even looking up. Or maybe he sighs the second you bring something up, like, ugh, here we go again. Maybe it's that he forgets something you told him, something that mattered to you. Or he leaves his mess right after you spent the whole morning cleaning. And in an instant, boom, your body reacts. Your chest gets tight, your jaw clenches, and your brain is already like, yep, here we go again. Then comes the conflict. Maybe you call him out and he gets defensive. Or you try to swallow it down, but it leaks out anyway in your tone. Suddenly, the air is heavy, the distance feels thick, and you're both in that familiar dance. Maybe you shut down. Maybe he checks out, arms crossed, silence mode. Maybe you shut down, tears, retreat to the bedroom, or just find something to help you numb those feelings. And then maybe you make up. Maybe you have a conversation. Someone makes a half hearted apology, or you just pretend like it didn't happen. Or maybe you have sex. Maybe just moving on without ever really resolving it. And for a moment, there's relief. Your body softens, like, whew, okay, crisis averted. But before long, you're right back where you started. And here's why it feels so impossible to escape this cycle. Your nervous system is addicted to it. Seriously, this cycle it's like a drug. Your body has memorized that spike of adrenaline when the fight starts, that crash with the silence, the little dopamine hit you get when you reconnect. That roller coaster becomes familiar, and what's familiar feels safe, even if it's painful. I've been there too. I used to think if I could just say the right thing, or say it the right way, or explain it clearly enough, then finally he'd get it. I would send him links to articles, write him long ass messages, pour my heart out, and nothing landed. Nothing changed. And the more I pushed for him to change, the more powerless I felt. So, if you're listening and nodding right now, I want you to hear this. You are not broken. You are not crazy. This is just a nervous system loop, which means if your body learned how to get stuck in it, it can also learn how to break free from it. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about next. So, why does this cycle feel so damn hard to step out of? And what I say next might sting a little, but I say it with love. Every time you're sitting there waiting for him to finally validate you, or waiting for him to notice that you're upset and come comfort you, or waiting for him to regulate so that then you can calm down, you are giving away your power. It's like your nervous system is wired into this behavior. If he's in a good mood, you can breathe. If he's cold or distant, your stomach drops. If he's attentive, you feel safe. If he's distracted, you spiral. And here's the sneaky part: when your sense of safety depends on what he does or doesn't do, you've basically handed him the remote control to your emotions. And he doesn't even have to push the buttons consciously. Just him being himself is enough to flip you on and off. And this is not because you're weak, it's because somewhere along the line, you have learned to outsource your safety. Maybe as a kid, you needed to track your parents' moods to know if you were safe. Maybe you learned, if I can just keep them happy, then I'll be okay. And now your body runs that same survival strategy in your relationship. So, what ends up happening, you've been trying to heal through him instead of with your own self. Like, if he could just finally get it, finally change, finally show up in this way that I need him to, then maybe I would feel calm and loved and chosen. But here's the truth: that keeps you stuck in emotional dependency. It keeps you waiting and begging, adjusting, shrinking. It keeps you holding your breath, hoping maybe this time he'll rise to meet you. And I'm not saying he doesn't have his own work to do, because he probably does. But your freedom, your peace, your healing, they cannot depend on him. Because the moment they do, you have handed away the very power you're trying to reclaim. Okay, so let's flip this. We've talked about the cycle, we've talked about how you've been handing away your power. Now let's actually talk about what shifts when you start healing. Because when your nervous system begins to regulate, you automatically start responding differently. Think about it. When you're dysregulated, it's like your whole body is screaming, danger, danger, danger. Your heart's pounding, your chest is tight, your thoughts are racing a mile a minute. In this state, of course you react. Of course you snap. Of course you chase or shut down. Your body thinks it's survival. But when you've done the work to bring safety back inside your own body, you don't bite at the hook the same way anymore. He makes the same comment he's always made, but instead of your blood boiling, you take a breath. You notice the trigger, and you have this space, this pause where you get to choose. And in that space, new boundaries begin to rise up naturally. Not the kind of boundaries where you slam walls down or scream ultimatums. I'm talking about the kind of boundaries that flow out of self respect. The kind where you say, I love you, and I also won't participate in this same old fight anymore. And here's the most freeing part: even if he stays exactly the same, the dynamic can no longer control you because you're not the same woman showing up to it. You're calmer, you're clearer, you are grounded in your body instead of feeling all tangled up in his moods. You're not chasing his validation like it's oxygen anymore because you've learned how to breathe on your own. I can't even tell you the number of times I have had women say to me, Diana, I swear, my partner hasn't changed at all, but it feels like we're living in a completely different relationship. And that's because they changed. Their nervous system changed. Their reactions shifted. And when the reaction changes, the entire dance changes. So, yeah, he might still push the same buttons, but when you're no longer wired to explode or collapse into yourself or cling to him, those buttons lose their power. And that is liberation. So, now let's get practical because it's one thing to understand the cycle, and it's another thing to actually interrupt it in real time. This is where that brain body connections comes in. This is what is called a pattern interrupt. The next time you feel that familiar tension building, maybe your voice starts to rise, your throat starts to close up, maybe your body starts buzzing, maybe you feel yourself about to shut down, I want you to catch it. Literally say to yourself, this is the moment I usually, and fill in the blank. This is the moment I usually explode. Or this is the moment I usually chase him down the hallway and demand that we talk about this right now. This is the moment I usually shut down and go silent. Just naming it out loud creates awareness. And awareness is everything because it puts you back in the driver's seat instead of letting your autopilot run the show. Now, once you've named it, I want you to pause. Put your hand to your heart. Maybe even close your eyes if you can. Take a long breath in through your nose and an even longer breath out through your mouth. That long exhale is your body's signal to shift out of fight or flight. And then here's the magic. Choose one different thing. That's it. Just one. If you usually yell, maybe consciously lower your voice. If you usually chase, maybe this time give him some space and give yourself some space. If you usually shut down, maybe whisper, hey, I need a second, and walk away with intention instead of disappearing. It doesn't have to be big or dramatic. It just has to be different. Because every time you make a new choice, you are teaching your nervous system, we don't have to ride this same painful ride again. We can step off this roller coaster. And the more you practice this, the easier it'll get until one day you realize the argument starts and suddenly it doesn't have the same grip on you anymore. You actually feel like you have options. This is how you start breaking that loop. Okay, now let's take this a step deeper. This one's not just about the nervous system. This one's about your energy. Because sometimes even you're calm on the outside, it still feels like pieces of you are scattered all over the place. You're thinking about what he said last night, or you're replaying that argument, or maybe you're even bracing yourself for the next one. And all of that energy, it's leaking out of you and straight into him. So, here's a practice I love to use to reclaim your energetic sovereignty. If you can, close your eyes. If you're driving, just imagine this in your mind's eye and take a breath in. And as you exhale, imagine that you can see with your mind's eye the cords of energy between you and him. And these cords can look however they want to. Maybe they look like ropes or threads or a glowing wire. And they're carrying all of that unspoken stuff: blame, control, dependency, fear, those constant what ifs. And now picture yourself holding a pair of golden scissors and with so much compassion, start snipping those cords one by one. not with any anger, not with any rejection, just with love. Like, this no longer belongs to me. And as each cord drops away, see yourself pulling your energy back into your own body. Imagine light pouring in through the top of your head, filling your chest, your belly, your whole system with warmth and strength. And you can even say it out loud. Whisper it with me now if you want. I return to myself. I am safe in my own power. I return to myself. I am safe in my own power. And notice how your body feels when you say that. Notice how different it feels to stand in your own energy instead of constantly bleeding out into his moods and his choices or his reactions. And when you practice this, you stop leaking your power into him. You stop outsourcing your worth. You start to feel whole in yourself. And that wholeness, that's what makes you magnetic. That's what makes you grounded. That's what makes you sovereign. So now that we've gone through breaking the loop in the body and reclaiming your energy, let's bring it down onto the page. Because here's the thing, your subconscious mind runs about 90% of the show. And when you actually write, like pen to paper, it's like shining a flashlight into all of those hidden corners where old beliefs and fears and patterns have been hiding. So I've got a few prompts for you. And if you're listening on the go, don't stress, just let them sink in now. And you can come back later with your journal. I'll be including these in the show notes. So here's the first one. What have I been trying to change in him that I could start healing in me? Take that in, because that's the shift right there. It's going from outward focus to inward empowerment. The second prompt, what boundary is my soul asking me to set, even if it scares me? Sometimes your body already knows the line you need to draw, but your mind is terrified of what will happen if you actually do it. This is your chance to listen to that inner wisdom. Now, the third one. What would it look like to stop begging and start leading? Leading doesn't mean controlling him. It means leading your own energy, your own choices, your own healing. So write these down. Don't censor yourself. Don't try and pretty it up. Let it be messy. Let it be raw. And let it surprise you, because your journal doesn't judge you. It just mirrors back what's already inside. And I promise you, the moment you see these words on paper, something inside of you will begin to shift. Suddenly, you're not just spinning in thoughts, you're holding the truth right in front of you. And you'll get some clarity. Okay, now for one of my favorite pieces, we're going to work on rewriting the ending. Because your nervous system loves to run old stories on repeat. But the moment you start imagining and rehearsing a different ending, you're literally teaching your brain and body a new way forward. So I want you to think of that argument you've had 100 times. You know the one, it probably comes to your mind instantly. The same words, the same tone, the same shutdown over and over. Now, close your eyes if you can. Picture it starting again. You'll feel that familiar heat in your chest or the urge to say something sharp. Maybe you'll feel the panic rising. Normally, this is the moment that you spiral, right? But this time, imagine that it plays out differently. Instead of snapping back, you pause. You put your hand on your heart. You breathe. You notice the space between his words and your response. And in that space, you choose something new. Maybe you walk away calmly instead of storming off. Maybe you say, I need a minute, instead of shutting down completely. Maybe you decide, I don't have to solve this right now. And notice how different the whole scene feels when you shift your part in it. And now I want you to actually write this out in your journal like a little script. When he does X, instead of me reacting with Y, here's how I choose to respond now. Paint that whole scene. See yourself grounded, clear, and calm. And feel that version of you in your body right now. And understand that the cycle doesn't end when he changes. The cycle ends when you stop repeating it. You reclaim the story. You rewrite the ending. And when you do that over and over, it will become your new default. So, here's what I want you to take away from today. The dynamic between you and your partner may feel painful, heavy, and even impossible sometimes. But the moment you choose to heal, everything changes. When your nervous system shifts, when your reactions shift, when your energy comes back to you, your boundaries rise naturally, and suddenly you're not stuck in that endless loop anymore. And listen, he may never change. That's just the truth. But the power that you've been waiting for, the freedom you've been craving, it was never in his hands to begin with. It's been inside of you this whole time. You don't have to wait for him to get better. You don't have to wait for him to get it. You are the shift. You are the pattern breaker. And if you're ready to go deeper into this work and you're feeling like you need some support, this is exactly what we do inside Healing Her. Together, we unravel the cycles. We heal your nervous system. We clear out those energetic imprints, and we rewrite your love story from the inside out. So, if you've been listening and thinking, yes, this is me, I need this, I want you to know you don't have to do it alone. Book your free call through the link in the show notes, and let's explore if this program is the next step in your healing journey. All right, my love, breathe that in. You're not powerless. You're not broken. You are becoming the woman who ends the cycle and reclaims her wholeness. I'll see you back here next week. Until then, take care of your heart and keep coming home to yourself.